Right, here we are, man in the van. I told you I'd be back, and I am. This is actually take 2 already, because we only got...
Put some C-bombs in already,
Yeah,
sorry boys, you know, parental advisory and all of that.
We got 20 seconds in. It's because I introduced Bob Buchanan here in the first take as Sir Ben Kingsley, and of course, if you've ever seen the film Sexy Beast, which, you know, Bob threw out a C-bomb early doors. So we're going to try to get through this without too much swearing. If we do, then we'll have to get the bleep button out and do what we got to do. Bob is a guest that I would love ages to get a man in the van. He's always busy prepping goggles, doing his Oakley rider. What's it called? The official
Oakley Riders UK.
Oakley Riders UK. Right.
Yeah.
So
doesn't matter, small, big, all the way up, everybody.
Actually,
Oakley Riders.
Let's talk about that first and foremost. That in itself is brilliant for UK motocross. I mean, a proper effort going in here with Oakley.
Yeah. It's a concept that is going to come to fruition, and it's something hopefully me and you are going to talk about in this interview. I mean, next week at Landrake, you've got the BYN and the Maxxis running together, as people think that it should do all the time anyway, right-minded people. But you're going to have 85s, 65s, autos, pros. Now, it doesn't matter to me whether you're Conrad Muse, Freddie Gardner, Tyler Hooley, whoever. They're all going to be coming to the van. They all get the same goggle service. Yeah. They all get the same quality goggle. They all get the same prep. So it's introducing the kids to a service that a lot of the pros don't get, do they? I mean,
straight up, mate. Yeah.
So it gives them a bit more of experience, bit more. You know, they get a bit more chesty in the paddock.
Not only does it do that, let's cut the check. What it actually does is bring a level of professionalism, which this is why we're talking about this. Is why we got you in the van to talk about it. Just trying to raise the bar on so many levels with British motocross. Now, you had a little sigh there, because I know we could rumble on here for hours, and we probably would.
Are we not going to?
Well, we can if you want.
No,
I mean, whatever. We're taking long. But there's so much stuff going on at the minute. You know, since the internet come along, everybody can now voice their opinion, and everybody sees it. So that's changed everything from the get-go. Yeah. Right now, we're at a position with British motocross where, you know, it's the politics and everybody. It's come to a point now where it really is open discussion, and there seems a lot of disillusioned people out there. So first and foremost, question time, killer question.
Go on.
Why do you think that is? Let's go with that first before I even go on to the second question. So why do you think people are so disillusioned?
So why do you think people are so disillusioned?
Not
why are people voicing their disillusion?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are getting mileage on social media out of this general debate that's going on. A lot of people are putting, you see a post weekly goes up, such and such has happened to British motocross, what do you think about it? Now, they're not asking that question because they're interested in what's happening in British motocross. All they're asking is how many likes are they getting on this post. True. You know, there's people like that. But there is this general disillusionment with British motocross, and people are disillusioned for different reasons. Some of them are disillusioned because they don't understand what's going on. Some of them are disillusioned because they do know what's going on. And a lot of people are disillusioned because there's nothing going on.
We're in a strange place.
Yeah, a lot of this debate kicked off. Well, we're at Fox Hills for the last EMX Nationals, but the previous Maxxis round was at the Fox Hills. Yeah, and there was a lot of debate because there wasn't a great entry, and there wasn't a great deal of spectators. People probably know I'm involved with Ike Carter. On a professional basis, of course, you know.
I'm glad you just cleared that up there, Bob. Yeah.
But anyway, in that MXY2 race last time at Fox Hills, him and Joel Rizzi were out in a MXY2 race that had 15 entrants. Now, this is the future of British motocross. This is the youth. This is next year's MX2 riders. Yeah. This is what's coming along. And there was 15 of them. And all right, Ike and Joel were 50 seconds in front of third place. So there's obviously not only a lack of numbers, but also a great variation in standard. Now, most of the blame that came from the keyboard warriors or the people on social media voicing their opinion was that such an event as this, the Bridgestone, Darren's a service, or whatever it's called now, the AMCA Championship of the World, and all of that. We're taking riders away from the Maxis. Now, as we've alluded to with Goggles, I help a lot of riders, and I put a lot of work into the youth because we want to try and encourage the youth. Now, I help probably 8 of the top 10 riders in MXY2. You got Rizzy, you got Carter, you got Tom Murphy, Hurd, Bobby Bruce, all of those. They do all these championships. They don't. It's the same people at all these championships. There isn't riders hiding away in the Bridgestone, hiding away in the MX Nationals that can come into the Maxis and fill up those 15 places. There isn't the riders. It's the same with MX2, MX1. They're not full because there isn't enough good riders. And you've got these other people that are of our generation say, let's go back to the old days with the fastest 40 and everybody qualifies, and there isn't 40 riders. If I was to give you
no, totally.
If I was to give you 40 grand and say, right, give me an MX1 rider that's not already in MX1 that could run in the top 10, that's British, who is it?
Well, exactly.
There isn't anybody.
You'd have to drag out an old warhorse for that.
Oh yeah,
and chip them down to 30. But that's the point.
No, but that's the AMCA. That's the AMCA field.
But that's what we're talking about. They're like, so the depth and quality. Even Paul, who runs this series, as you well said, so you got the fastest 40 at the minute. He said, and even get, like you've just highlighted, it's just hard to find now riders that are good enough to ride as a pro for that distance. We literally,
and that's mirrored in the GPs as well.
Oh, well, we're going to get onto that minefield. Well, any minute now, really, aren't we? So it all kind of stems from the top, but yeah, it's very, very difficult, and that's what people are missing, aren't they?
Yes, I think that what's happening now, and with the people that are organising these competitions, is that they've got. We're in a situation now where you've got the best riders you've got. That's all you've got.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you cut the cloth, how many races you have, how long the races are, what championship it is. You're not going to change the fact that you haven't got enough riders. That's what you're at. So forget that. Stop playing with that. That's not going to change. That's how it is. Start at the bottom and make sure you're bringing on more riders. So in 5 to 10 years' time, these classes are now full with the kids that are coming up. If you waste your money trying to organise the 15, 20 riders we've got, you haven't got the money to spend at the bottom to make sure there's now going to be 40 in there in 5, or we've even got a sport in 5 or 10 years time.
Now this sounds, and listen, I want to get at this point out, I really do. This sounds like we're bashing British motocross.
We love British motocross.
That's why we want it to succeed, exactly, more than ever. So, and then you've got the GPs and everybody saying how the numbers are dropping off there. But going back to us in Britain then, we've got this whole Brexit thing coming up and all that as well, which will add confusion to it. Forget all that right now. Do you think, as a nation, why are we doing things, are we so isolated, we do things different to mainland Europe and how they do it over there? What's the pros and cons? Is there stuff that you think we do better than mainland Europe with racing? Just the structure and the whole path to get to a world championship level, why do you think we kind of got it is so why do you think it's got so diluted over here? And I'm like, you go to Belgium and Holland, it's quite simple. You have the ONK, it's all.
That's 20. There's 20 questions in that. That one statement.
There you go. That'll give you something to work with, meat on your bone.
Yeah. This year's the first year, as you know, I've been to, for the last 12 years, I've been to every GP. This is the first year I haven't been to the GPs because with this Oakley Riders UK gig, it is a UK gig, and I've been to every BYN and every bridge. I've never been to a Bridgestone before this year. And when you go to these events, there's loads of kids. There's loads of good kids. It's the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
A parent can still afford to run his kid competitively with everybody else up to an 85 big wheel.
Yeah.
So up until 85 big, I don't see that we're doing much wrong.
No.
one of the things that we've got low entries in the BYN, we know that, but that's another thing that I'll come on to with your why do I think it's got weaker bit of that question. But the thing that's lacking now in this country is there's no path for the good 85 riders whose parents can't fund it themselves to get through 125 to EMX 125 up to MX2. There is no support structure in British motocross. There's no safety net for the extremely talented riders whose families haven't got a lot of money. That's what we do different to a lot abroad. You've got in Italy, you've got the Italian Federation with Husqvarna through the Maddies have got a support youth structure. So you've had Guadagnini come through and Ferrato and people like that. In France, you've always had Yamaha with the Blue Crew, and the French Federation have always had youth. In Holland, you've got Diga Racing, the KNMV that do the KTM youth. So you've got people like Cater Wolf, Case Cars Maker, people like that come through.
But going on what you said there, sorry to derail you.
It's your van.
It's not. It's the open van because I'm in my car. To derail you a little bit with your train of thought on that. But you've just, like, for example, we just mentioned the French Federation. They obviously, look, they've been Motocross of Nations champions now 6 years.
But they could pick 6 teams.
But that's the point. But what I mean by that is, do you think their job's made easier? Admittedly, they invest more, but do you reckon their job's made easier by the simple fact that it's just the French Federation? There's not this, like, there's so many fragmented things in the UK.
Right. That was what you were. We're coming back to this. Being all these other championships. I don't think there being all these other championships is a problem, because it gives kids an opportunity to race every weekend that they wouldn't normally have. It just so happens that the ACU, the governing body, and I'm not knocking the ACU at all, they've got a difficult job to do, so's every federation, but it just so happens that the ACU championships are the least supported ones. I think myself that is because it's fizzy, that Coke, isn't it?
If you need to belch, get it out. No,
it's all right. No. I'll just fart instead.
It's fizzy Coke. Who's going to do that?
We get into the stage where you've got the kids that are quick. You've got these maybe 15 quick kids, like we were alluding to in the MXY2, the same in 85, the same, and they've got to do the ACU championships to get the licenses, the start permissions to do the European stuff. To get onto teams, to try and get onto teams that might notice them, you have to do the official championships. In this country, the official championships, the FIM sanctioned body is the ACU. So to get through that professional ladder, you have to race ACU. This is an MX Nationals, but it's not run by the ACU, so it's not recognised abroad. What's recognised abroad. Now, you've got these fastest kids do this because that's the case. Now, there's a lot of the privately funded people. It's a parent's day out. It's a weekend away. They're racing with the kid. They're enjoying it. They don't want to go to the high-profile pressured event where they know their kid's going to get lapped or get beat anyway. So Gareth doesn't get the big entries. No. The ACU doesn't get the big entries, but he gets the best riders. The ones because of exactly that. Because so I don't think the other championships have anything to do with filtering away from that, apart from the fact it gives them somewhere else to ride instead of going there. Certainly,
like you said, regards of the high-end rider, that they are, the BYN will still do that because, like you said, the ACU are the only ones affiliated to the FIM, which leads you into the European 125 and 250 and stuff like that. So moving into that then, EMX 125, 250, GPs, like you said, you're well travelled. It's not like you haven't been around the block, regards of been in this sport a long time. And then, what was it, 5-6 years, more than that, constantly you've toured, you know, doing the
GP's 12
That's
years.
what I mean.
You know, and running riders out there 6 years.
Absolutely. You've been to virtually every GP up until this year for the last 12 years. So that seems to be I wouldn't say, well, let's call it pivotal. It's the first word that came into my head. You know, we've gone from, you know, going to a GP back in my day when I could ride Wheeler, all that. You turn up, you got a chance, you got to get on a grading list to even get there.
You had to bring up Wheeler, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You want to go there, do you?
Yeah, well, we don't want to go there.
No,
we're just giving you a shout out, Bri, because honorary shout out. So we got all that going on, and then you had to get through a qualifying process just to get there.
Yeah.
And you had to qualify. Now, of course, you know, it's a case of, as long as you're an expert or even that standard ride, you pay your money, you go.
Yes.
We've even had this discussion, you know, there's nothing realistically stopping a ride at myself, 47 in November. I could get on a plane to China, pay my money. Now, fundamentally,
you certainly could have got on your old smoker and gone to Turkey, couldn't you?
Do you know what I mean? Well, there we are. Now that for you, as a two-stroke advocate as well, you know, worked really hard to try and make that series happen. Brought the British two-stroke series to the Maxis, the ACU.
Disappointing.
That must be a bit a pill to swallow. It to see it just like it. It's just, where's it gone? Where's all that gone?
If we were going to go down that two-stroke championship route, then that's easy. The reason that's gone like that is because running a two-stroke, the idea behind that, and certainly the idea behind the thing I was doing with the Maxis, was the affordability of it.
Yeah.
Now, to go to Russia, I mean, I'm still paying off. I took Jimmy Dunn and Mikey Crash there last year, not this year, last year. I'm still paying that off.
Yeah.
8,000 euros to get eight there on the spanners and Mikey and Jimmy and fly everybody there. You know, that's ridiculous expense for a two-stroke. That should never be on that. And Turkey, obviously, the same. They've been to, you know, we went to Bulgaria, places like that. Now, if that championship was going to succeed, it needed to be in the heartland. It needed to be round the Antwerp Ring Road. It needed to be Teussenthal. It needed to be Erne. It needed to be Valkenswaard, Lommel. You know, all the tracks that Matterley.
Yeah.
You need to get. We'd fill the gates all the time there. You go out to those places, you're not going to fill the gates with a European Championship race that's supposed to be affordable. Now, yes, I understand that the rest of it is a world championship, and Giuseppe's taking it to the world. Now, if it's going to go down the route of being like MotoGP, where it's just factory teams, you're going to have 10, 12 riders, then yeah, that's okay, have that series. But then if that's going to happen, we need something else in mainland Europe that can satisfy the needs. Because where does a national rider, when you've got to the top of your national game, where do you go? Now, he's had some random ideas. You know, we remember we had MX3, didn't we?
We had MX3.
Then we had the 300. Now we've got this fantastic
ideas out there.
We've got this GP Clubman class now, haven't we?
Yeah, and we had that.
EMX
Did you ever hear? I don't think it ever got off the ground that year. They was going to do that industry cup thing.
Oh yeah.
With all the so you had manufacturers.
They did it in a stadium in Germany, the same time as Night of the Jumps, and there was like 30,000 people down the road, and about 11 people in this stadium in Germany, and they had to photograph everything from the top. Because you couldn't photograph into the seats because it was all empty. I remember that. But yeah, I mean this new Clubman class that you're gonna go EMX Open. What's that?
Well, we joked about it, but it was a tongue-in-cheek joke with a degree of sincerity to it and seriousness about it, because it is, isn't it? It's a glorified.
It's a tourist class.
That's what we called it.
Yeah, it's tourist. It's people that have worked out that 300 euros to enter, to get a campus pass, a car pass and 4 people passes is cheaper than actually paying to go to the GP. Yeah. So if it's your local round in Villars or in Teussenthal or in Valkenswaard, enter that, ride a 96 CR250 or a new KTM 450 that you've bought down the road and go down with it. But if you're a motocross fan, are you going to pay 50, 60 euros to watch your mate ride round a GP track? Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't get that at all. And for riders' points of view, if you're a serious motocross rider with a career and you want to progress, how are you going to feel if you go to a GP in Latvia and you're taken and you're putting this EMX Clubman class and there's 25 in the main race? Yeah. Oh, you're going to race in this? You're going to race in the noddy class. You can't go and play with the proper men. Well, you know,
Well, this is it. These are the kind of questions.
And what will you win? What in terms of progression in your career will you get from doing that? Where does that lead, that class? The proper European classes that lead anywhere are EMX 125, EMX 250, into MX2. So, for a start, you can't have the two 250 classes with the same exit age. No, because how's that a progression path?
Well, that genuinely come as a bit of a the first kickback shock to me.
And obviously for male and people like that, it was hard to take. But I'm not completely adverse to an age limit on that.
Yeah.
If you get rid of the age limit in MX2.
Yeah, of course.
Now you see, MX2 isn't a world championship. MX2 is a world junior championship. Yeah. It's the best little bike rider under 23.
Yeah.
So, and that class isn't full, is it? So the answer to filling that class is easy. Hit the age limit off the top of it, bang, it's full straight away.
So that brings me round to the point of how we try to evolve the sports, and people, governing bodies, everybody, things evolve, but sometimes, surely you just have to go, it worked, it wasn't broken, put it back to a degree, that's it. I get the qualifying process through, but like you just said, MX2 warrants having no age limit on it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I mean by that.
Absolutely, because you look at the boys that are forced to go up.
That's what I'm saying. We had 125 championship back in the day, and we had 125 champions that were obviously over 23. Sometimes
125 championship, 125 world championship back.
Sometimes you just get, and you know this.
Sometimes
you just get riders that are suited to a certain capacity of bike.
Absolutely.
End of.
Absolutely. Would Cairoli ever have gone up if he didn't have to?
Yeah, so exactly that.
Would Jeffrey have gone up?
Yeah.
Valentine Guillot is the one that's
But you do get,
Kid was awesome.
Okay, let's talk about 125s, for example. So, with what I've just said there, putting that into some kind of context, like Chiodi, obviously, I think he was 3-time 125 world champion, and because of his size, that's what suited. He was never going to go and win a 250 title, certainly not 500.
No. Now, would you want to see a rider going down to a GP gate with blocks?
Yeah.
Let's get on a 500 and you've got to have blocks because you're too small. Nice.
I'm in total agreement with you on that the age limit in MX2 should just be open, end of. And that would free up all those other riders that could come back to it and make that super competitive. And then you still got to get that process of getting into MX1.
I mean, didn't a lot of Yank Covington and all those, isn't that why they went back to the States? Because they didn't want to ride a 450.
Quite possibly, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So that would do that. But let's get back to the EMX 125s and 250s. So your progression to MX2 is EMX 125 and EMX 250. Now, as British people, what we've now got to see, how do you get the best of British riders into EMX 125 and into EMX 250? Because at the minute, there aren't any.
Yeah.
The last EMX 250 was in Uruvala. We had no riders. The last EMX 125, we had Joel Rizzi. Now, Gilbert was supposed to be doing that EMX 250 series, didn't he? But he was at Cussers Gorse while it was on it. All right, he's got team thing to do, so you've got to do it. But that's not helping that rider or our sport as a nation. I mean, where's our next nations team going to come from when that crop has gone? Unless we start now. I mean, there's time,
Yeah, of course.
But we need to start now with some way that you get the good British rider into that EMX 125, into EMX 250, get them across the water. Now, it's back to that support thing where you haven't got any way of the parents that, well, a lot of parents don't even know what goes on over there.
That's true.
I mean, I always had this fantasy of when we were on the KTM, was just to get Deeger to come over and do a round of the BYN and just showcase the British father where the level was. Sorry, your kid's not the next James Stewart. He's got a couple more levels to get to yet, but when they understand that, then you see it, you can start working towards it. But there's when you were saying going back to that, the old Chiodi on the 125 and all of that, the sport was so much more affordable in those days.
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
working man sport.
I'm glad you brought that, because that was my next question. So you've already already brought that up.
It's always been a working man sport.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so much more affordable. Now the cost of just doing a European series, there's 9 rounds next year.
Yeah.
Now you need 60 grand just to look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you're doing the British as well, you need another 2 bikes at least.
Yeah.
You've got travel, you've got mechanic, or if father's going to do it, you get people go, well, I don't need a mechanic because my dad's doing it. Yeah, but your dad's got to take time off work.
Yeah, so it costs them.
the amount of money that he's losing from
totally.
taking time off work, you might as well
time.
pay a mechanic or
big
whatever.
time. Yeah.
Somebody's got to drive.
The old adage, time is money, innit?
Absolutely.
Either way.
So somebody's got to drive the 2 days to Keggums and the 2 days back. 2 days at the GP, that's 6 days to go to Keggums. Now that's 6 days for somebody's wages, never mind the fuel, the entry, and you haven't started yet. You know, that's just to get you on the line. So if you've got 9 of those rounds, I used to work it out that to get to a GP and back, just the costs of getting there, not doing anything, is 2 grand, averages out at 2 grand a round. So just your travelling is 20 grand. On that EMX 250, just your travelling. Never mind your bike, your spares, your fuels, flying the pilot in and out or whatever, and all of that. How does your average working man that's got a kid who's quick on a 125 or quick on a 250F and just won 2 championships in England and maybe a 3rd next weekend, how do you get across the channel into those races? I haven't got the answer to that. I've tried.
That's a bloody shame. That's a bloody shame, because you teed up your own question, and I was expecting you at that point to go, well, this is how you do it.
No, I haven't got the answer for that, because I'm not in that position.
You've highlighted the problem clearly.
Right. So there are options of how you do that. You need either this industry supported, a manufacturer supported, in association with the governing body. There has to be some responsibility from the governing body, otherwise they're going to preside over the demise of our sport. So they clearly need to do something, and that's just not give Gareth a couple of quid towards the shirts for the World Championships or anything like that. There needs to be proper money put in, like, as I've highlighted, has been done successfully in other countries.
Big time. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what we're talking about.
There's examples there.
The French Federation.
The Italians this year.
It's not. You can't break it down to luck or coincidence that they have had that run that they've had on the Motocross of Nations.
Marco Maddi was racing with Lewis in the first stages of that EMX 300. He stopped racing after he won the title. Yeah. And they started this program. Now that was 2015. Yeah. In 5 years,
well, they're just churning
they've got a 125 champion and and nearly had a 250 champion. Ferrato nearly. So Guadagnini is the fruit of that program. So that works. And they've other riders. He's not. Totally. You look at the Worlds. They've got 85, 65. That works. Now we need that. Now how do you get it? You know.
Brilliant. There we go. So it's exactly that. For those of you watching it, perfect time. Either comment below or answers on a postcard.
Oh, absolutely. If there's somebody
out there know the answer and have got an opinion on this and actually can make a difference, we want to know. Because as we sit in a van as 2 old duffers that have been around the block, well, okay, I'm speaking for myself.
No, you're speaking for me.
We don't. This isn't like a just for the sake of effect for us to have feedback to.
No, we actually care about
ratings or anything. This is not for me like a Facebook post or whatever, wherever you end up seeing this to try and boost our egos or massage our numbers or anything like that.
I don't care if you like me or you don't like me. You probably don't.
I'm the same.
I nearly went again.
Well, that's fine. That was a good one. We'll let that one slip in. That slipped in. Now we've highlighted it, so everybody will pick up on it.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the point. Yeah, like we've been wanting to do this for some time because it's like born out of just where are we going with it? That's
we need investment in the sport. Now you're not going to get outside investment in this sport in the state it's in at the minute, because there's nothing for anybody to get hold of to promote their product with what we present them with at the minute. So we need to produce something that somebody can put their name to that will advance their company and advance in our sport. Now, the first thing you need to do is get the thing on television. Now, the only way you're going to get the thing on television is produce something that somebody wants to watch and has got a crowd with some atmosphere watching it. I mean, I'm not going to go down the Vets at Farley thing, but if you film the Vets at Farley, then it's it's all old school bikes, it's old school blokes. It's not relevant to the modern stuff, but it's that kind of event that we want 9 times a year, 7 times a year around this country, that a television company can get hold of, and then you can go to other companies and go, look, you can advertise on this, invest in this. This is a draw for you.
Yeah,
there's a market here, because the sport can't fund itself. Because there isn't enough money in motocross for the companies that are in motocross to reinvest it into the sport to lift it up. Because you get less riders, so it generates less money, so there's less money to reinvest. Because there's less money to reinvest, you get less riders, so there's less money to reinvest, and you keep going down. So our national championship needs to be a big event. So it's got to be all the kids, all the pros together, the BYN, the Maxis, run on the same weekend. You then get the benefits of lesser cost, because it's bound to be cheaper than running 2 events. You don't hit the same fan base twice with 2 different championships.
Totally.
So you're pulling the crowd once in the year, so you get a bigger crowd. You get all the entourage that the kids bring stay for Pro Day, so there's way more people on Pro Day, which is a better thing to film for television cameras. And you can build on that. Get a television audience, get people sat at home on their couches involved in the sport, so they're watching something else. You get, you start building a niche. There's people going, oh, that's Motocross, I remember that. Well, that used to be on grandstands before the horse racing. And,
well, it did,
yeah. And so you get that going again. You get people then going into work Monday morning. Here, that sport your kid did? I saw that on television.
Yeah.
God, that's good, isn't it?
Exactly.
And people then start to know what you're talking about. It generates an interest. You get a bigger buzz. You get investment. But you need to have that event.
Right. So here's the parting question. Why is that not happening? We've kind of covered it a lot, but
well, all right then. It's not happening.
Is it just okay? I'm going to try and simplify it.
No, you don't need to simplify. I know exactly what you're asking, so I'll answer.
No. Is it egos? Is it politics? Is it?
Oh, absolutely. Is it egos?
Yeah. It's well, it's definitely politics.
Yeah, politics. The Maxis was run by ACU Events Limited, which was a promotion company. It wasn't anything to do with the ACU. Yeah. It was just called ACU Events Limited. And the governing body, as we've already established, is the ACU. Yeah. Last year, this last season, for the first time, the ACU Motocross Committee have actually had the control of the event. Yeah. It's their first go at it. Now, I'm probably wrong on this, but I'm going to say it anyway, because that's the kind of guy I am. I don't know any other main sport where the governing body actually promotes the event. Yeah. Ustream run the GPs, the FIM officiate. Yeah. BSB is not run by the ACU, but the ACU are the rule enforced.
Football, FA, run by the Premier League.
Exactly that.
Well, the Premier League.
Yeah. So what you've got now is you've got the ACU Motocross Committee running the Maxis, and the ACU Motocross Committee officiating at it. So you've got the police policing themselves. Yeah. Nobody's policing the police. So there's no checks and balances. There's no transparency. Now Gareth is a promoter. Paul's a promoter. Well, Neil's a promoter. Yeah. Neil puts on an event that's governed by that's run under the MCF rules. Yeah. So Roy Barton was here just. He come here. So he's here. As the. But he's nothing to do with promoting the event.
No, not at all.
EMX Nationals promote. Yeah. So you need a promoter. Now, the lads on the ACU Motocross Committee, motocross fans through and through. They love the sport, else they wouldn't give up their time and that to do it. So you can't knock them for their passion for the sport and the love of it.
This is the thing.
But they are plumbers.
Exactly.
That they work. They're service managers at garages. They're not event promoters. Yeah. So they know the rules backwards. Those lads know the game. They're phoning out this rule, that rule, that rule. They know it. Yeah. So that's their job. That's, you know, that's what they should be doing. You need a promoter that knows how to put on an event. You know, I mean, loving or hate Matt Bates, how many times do people go to you, oh, we want something like the Pro National?
Yeah, true.
Matt's a promoter. Matt's a showman.
Yeah.
You know, Neil Irwin, promoter, showman.
Yeah.
So you need somebody to put, Gareth is a promoter. Gareth, Western Beach Race. Who can fault Western Beach Race?
Well, there you go, exactly. And he's handling numbers and the amount of people to organise that. Huge undertaking.
Now, I know he's putting a proposal to the ACU for next year to run the two things together.
Yeah.
And he got knocked back.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No
idea why. You know, not my business to ask the questions. My business is motocross.
We want to see
we want to see it happen. And I firmly believe the only way to do it is like that.
I think that's we are getting to that level now. I think there's a lot of people that, some people, they're not outspoken as you or myself, maybe, you know, but it's almost getting to a point. Well, Gobby in a good way. There's I don't know. I think people are just we're just getting to a point where everybody involved is like, look, things need to change, you know. So it's just now. Yeah,
we might be wrong.
Absolutely.
That might not work.
There's two things sat in this van.
Try it, for Christ's sake.
There's two things sat in this van. We might not be right, and we are or we're not. We don't know. And the other thing that I can't stress enough: we're not sat in this van bashing federations or promoters or anything. It's just like we just need everybody, don't we, to sort of just get together and work it out. And that's almost like it's gone on
it's
too long.
Frustration.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
You know, now, there's nothing wrong with the parent that can afford for his kid to race, to spend his own money, his hard-earned money, putting his kid out in races. Even if his kid's not good enough or whatever, good luck to him. Go and enjoy yourselves, let your kid have a time racing. What we're talking about is, how do you get the talented kids that have not got that? How do you keep them on bikes, off 85 big, through 125, European, up into GPs? Because I don't see any way that you can do that. Yeah.
So there we go. That's a nice place to leave it.
It's not a nice place to leave it.
No, sorry, you knew what I meant.
I do.
So we'll leave it at that, because ultimately
we could go on for
hours.
We've
been going for nearly 40 minutes. We could go on for 2 hours here. But this is it. We're passionate about it. We hope you are. Everybody gets to watch it. In the UK in particular, let's try and make something happen. So it'd be great to hear your opinions on it. That's ours for now. We might be back with another one.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of you people out there looking at this, we don't want lists of numbers. We don't want rambles. All we want to know is, do you think we're right or not? Because if we're not right, if you don't think we're right, if you're the father with that kid and you don't think we're right, tell us we're right and we'll have another look at it.
Yeah.
You know, if there's no point, I mean, if 17.4 million go and vote and they say that we're right.
Careful now. We definitely haven't got time for that. Don't even go down.
Really. You know, don't have posts that are 5 miles long with what happened then and I remember when, this, that and that. You know, are we talking sense or are we talking shit? It's one of those Insta posts, yes or no, isn't it?
It's a simple poll,
Yes or no, simple poll. Are we talking rubbish? Are we two old duffers that have like seen the best of it and we just like, you know, or do you think we're right? Because
what I do bloody know is that we're sat in this van and we both care.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's keep pushing on. In the meantime, Bob, always a pleasure. Let's go and get a beer. We've earned one. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. You've got a load of goggles to prep now.
Thanks for
that. I just thought I'd remind you. I'll go and get you a beer, me old mucker.
Nice.
Right, there you are.
Cheers,
Bob
people.
Buchanan, leg end. That's that done.
Cheers, boys.
See you soon.
Ta-da.